Well, today's a real simple one. I'm going to make some coffee in the woods, but I'll be using proper ground coffee. It's my favourite. The difficulty there is how would you do that without bringing some kind of percolator pot with you? Well, I might have just a solution, and I've trialled, go this way. So I've trialled about a handful of these. Some work better than others. I've got a choice of different stove systems that I could use. I've chosen the kettle for today. I've got the fuel all prepped up for it. It's just a case of showing you the way I make coffee out in the woods. It's going to be an enjoyable one for me, this. Nothing too strenuous. Now, I've found several water sources along the journey, and some are a lot cleaner than others. I'll show you the way I sterilise the water at a different date. But for now, I want to get the kettle started, show you the special coffee gadgets. It's only a case of me sitting down and enjoying a brew. And what's a betting? I've forgotten something. Let's hope it's not the kettle. On a few of my other episodes, I've been complaining about the devastation that tree felling machines have made to a lot of the campground where I usually come, and this is a prime example. So I found a stump to sit on, and I'm going to break open the kettle from a pack and get that going first. This has been pre-fueled with all the water I need. Right then. I'll run through some of the other gear I've got as well. Hopefully this should have water already in it. I transport my water in these. And obviously pull the stopper out. I'm just going to feed in some of this smaller stuff here. And once this takes ignition, it's a pretty easy thing to use. And the great thing about having the kettle is once it gets that initial ignition, the smoke in the flue here will stop and it'll be almost smokeless. Pretty easy to get going just off some feather sticks, shavings, or whatever you really want. I'm going to keep some spare kindle in here. Okay, what I'm wearing down here, and it's great for hiking out like this. First of all, knee pads. So now I can get on the ground and I don't make my trousers dirty, and it's comfortable and I'm off the wet ground. Also, I have these, which are my gaiters to keep the bottom of my trousers clean and dirt free. I've had to take that jacket off there, it's very warm. This is great if you're going to like real coffee at your camp and you don't want to bring some kind of stovetop percolator. Let's show you what I bought that doesn't work, and it's one of these, and as I squeeze on here it opens up jaws. You put your coffee grounds in there, but they fall through. The mesh is just too big for fine grounds. And the same story goes with this one here. With this one, push plunger opens up the tray. We're at a boil. I was running out of options. Two things that do work are tea strainers, but I'd have to make the coffee actually in a metal container, but these work great. I'd have to pour from one cup into the other and strain all these, and it makes a mess of your coffee cup. So on to the thing that does work. and it's this. It's a little coffee spoon, and all I do is load that up full of coffee, which I'm going to do right now. So I've got some coffee grounds in here, and as you can see, it's pretty fine. Should be able just to dip this spoon in and fill it up full of the coffee grounds. There you are. Just wipe the excess off there, and I swing the lid over and it locks into place just there, and I put that into my cup. I'm going to add some sugar to mine. I haven't got round to getting the sachets of the packets, because I can't say that word, of sugar and creamer, but they're cheap online. I hope that's sweet enough. I do like sweet coffee, and like I said, I've got some creamer as well. I'll show you just how good this coffee spoon is. Now, it's really cheap. I think I got 2 for about £6, making them £3 each. I donated one to my mate, you know. He likes real coffee in the woods. I like being able to kneel down now. Just put that on the ground to cool. Now, unfortunately, just there, and I noticed too late, I hadn't put the lid onto my coffee spoon tight enough. You've got to push it down and click it in and make sure it's locked into place. So there are going to be a few coffee grounds in this particular cup of tea, or coffee. Let's get it right. Stirred that for a couple of minutes. That is spectacular. This tastes just like it's been on a stovetop coffee maker, or even a little percolator. And I'm sat on that log stump where the kettle fire bucket has been in, and it's made it nice and warm for me to sit on. So double bubble coffee, warm bum. What's not to like? So that's the Welsh bushman's coffee in the woods. Them little spoons, like I said, I think I got 2 for about £6. I've got one at home. I use it at home regularly, and I've got this one, and I bought another 2 and gave them away to mates who also enjoy a proper coffee at camp. Now, in my bag I do have the little 3-in-1 packets, and for convenience they are brilliant for an overnight, but just an afternoon walk and a real coffee made with the Kelly. This is proper. Now, you'll notice at one point I showed you a couple of tea strainers, the type you'd put over your cup. See if I dig you one out. Something like this. These are the cheap ones you find sort of at a hotel or a bed and breakfast. Keep your eye on them. This is one I found on a car boot. This is how I started making coffee first time. I had to make it in, say, the Crusader cook pot. I'd put this on top of the Crusader mug, and I'd have to filter all that coffee out, but it left a residue of coffee leaves, coffee grounds, all in the cup, which needed to be cleaned out, and that was getting a pain in the backside. But the coffee spoon, absolutely no issue with that. It's all contained, and I can scatter this into the forest It's not going to do any harm to any wildlife or anything like that. It's all natural. So here's what it looks like afterwards, and all I do is just hurl it, and I can tap it out on a log and pop that back in my brew kit, ready for my next brew. So I've enjoyed doing that episode just because, one, I like my coffee and I want to show you what works and what doesn't. I've had to go with my Kelly kettle again, a walk in the woods, a coffee. I've had a really easy time today, and I just want to take it a little bit easy while I'm still in recuperation for spinal injury, which you all know about. Walking is meant to be very good for it, but I've been struggling the last few days even doing that, so I promised myself nothing too strenuous unless I'm straining the coffee. Well, I'm going to take a slow walk all the way around the forest. So this has been the Welshman's bush coffee in the woods. Until pretty soon, take care of yourself, because we've got some great kit reviews coming up and a few how-to makes which should be interesting. See you next time. Happy trails.